If you, like me, think one refugee family is a lot to commit to, Apkar Mirakian led the community effort to bring in 900 refugees in just 1 month. Help me welcome him to Context, please. Wow. I want to start here because 100 years ago, Canada wasn't so open to the Armenian people who needed to come here after the genocide. We only took in 109 Armenian refugees. 1 million and more died in that genocide. What is motivating you?
We would like to continue the tradition that Canada has started bringing refugees. And people in Aleppo or in Syria were dire need of any kind of help. They fled to the countries like Lebanon, Turkey, Jordan, far away to Egypt, and we were getting daily calls that they need to come to Canada because they have heard that Canada has opened the doors for the refugees.
What stories did your Armenian brothers and sisters in Aleppo and beyond tell you?
They cannot get daily water, daily electricity, daily bread. So they were suffering from all kinds of necessities that we take for granted in Canada. Children go out and by pairs, maybe they return one only. Because of bombing, I met a refugee. Actually, we call them newcomers. Refugee is somewhat not good.
You want us to call your Armenian newcomers, okay.
This week, actually, he was introducing himself to me, and we were writing down all his particulars. And he had a child next to him. And I said, "Where is your wife?" And he said, "My wife is not here now." In the meantime, the child went away. And he came close to me and he said, "You know, my wife and his sister was killed in front of the church 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Now, I haven't told anything to my son. He doesn't still know that his mother has died a year ago."
And here they are in Canada.
And here they are in Canada. And we got over 900 refugees in 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time.
Let me just unpack this a little bit, because this began a few years ago. Jason Kenney challenged you, hey, you should get a sponsorship agreement. You got all your paperwork done in 2010, 2012, and now, bang, in 1 month, just over December, 900 come, 1,100 have already been here. We got to go to your committee here. Marianne, what kind of support do you need to handle 900 refugees in 1 month alone? What's going on?
You would be amazed at how our community has mobilized and stood up and come forward to support this effort. Everybody wears multiple hats. They, if it's not filling out paperwork, it's driving around and collecting furniture and clothes drop-offs and necessities for homes. They're all volunteers. Today I do this, tomorrow I do that, and there's no questions asked. It's a humanitarian effort. And like Apkar said, it really does go back to our roots. It's because in my case, my father came through in a very similar process. We escaped genocide, we came here, somebody opened their house, their home to us.
And so
it's a pay it forward effort on my behalf.
Apkar, help me understand how your Christian faith is part of this.
The first plane that came down, we were at the hotel where the newcomers were located. Anyway, we picked them up, and on the way to the community center, they were telling us, we should go to church now. The first stop was at the church. They came down, and the priest prayed, and they said, "Oh, thank you, God, that we are now in safety country.
Wow, this is amazing. And I want to turn to another group in our audience here. We've got, there must be something going on in Markham. I don't know if it's the water you guys have there, but Father Dominique, tell us a little bit about why the teachings of Jesus motivated your church to care for refugees.
Yeah, if we start with the teachings of Jesus, he leaves us with this, what he calls the great commandment, to love God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. And so it's that basic commandment to go and love, to love our neighbor. And in fact, Jesus goes one step farther and says, we can love him in our neighbor. And so in Matthew 25, for example, when that group is asking Jesus, well, where were you when we were helping people? And he said, I was in those people who were in prison. I was that person who was naked and needed clothing. I was that person who was thirsty and needed water. I was that person who was hungry and needed food. When you reached out to that person, you were loving me. And so we work from that basic fundamental ethic and commandment to love.
You've got some of your sponsoring committee with you. What happens spiritually when you get involved in this kind of sacrifice?
I think spiritually it galvanizes us and it draws us together in a way that it kind of heightens that sense of us being together, gathered around belief and trying to follow the teachings of Jesus. It gives us a deeper sense of purpose, and it reminds us why we are followers of Jesus, that our faith has to be lived out in concrete actions.
All right, thank you. And Apkar, we're going to close this with you because it's pretty astonishing what's happening with your communities in Markham. And to see you're still, now after having 1,100, you're still expecting more.
Actually, we're expecting 680 only in February.
Okay. Give us your advice for some of us who feel a little overwhelmed and bothered by the refugee need.
Well, the belief in God, that whatever you're doing, it's a challenge. And God is going to help us. We know that we're going to get all the refugees into a safe home, God willing, by the help of all the Canadians here. We will be doing that. We have taken the challenge of Mr. Trudeau, who threw the gloves there saying, I will get 25,000. We will do that.
All right. Apkar Mirakian and Father Dominique Barber, part of St. Patrick's Catholic Parish in Markham. For all of us here at Context, thank you both.
Thank you.